Good morning, Rex kindergartners. This is Miss Phelps again. In our last lesson, we started talking about the different types of communities. Do you remember what a community is? That's right. A community is a place where people live and work together. Now, there's a bunch of different sizes of communities, and there's a bunch of different types of communities. Last time we learned about 3 different types of communities. We learned about rural. What kind of communities are rural communities? That's right, rural communities are far away from the city. Those are going to be communities out in the countryside. You're going to see lots of farms. You're going to see houses that are very spread out from each other. We also learned about urban communities. Do you remember what an urban community is? Good job. An urban community are going to be communities in the cities. Now, urban and city, they just mean the same thing. So what kind of things are we going to see in a city? We're going to see lots of buildings that are close together, a lot of traffic, and lots and lots and lots and lots of people. And then we have suburban communities. Sub means under, and urban means city. So it's not really quite under the city, more next to or near the city. So these are going to be places that are like the towns and things that are near the city, but not inside. Places like Greece, like Irondequoit, like Webster. They're near Rochester, but they're not in the city of Rochester. And today we are going to be sorting those different kinds of communities and comparing and contrasting them. Our question for today is, what makes each community special? What makes each type of community special? So let's think about it, and then we will get back. Let's go do our activity, and then I will see you at the end of the video.
Okay, for this game, when I point to one of the pictures with my cursor like this, you're going to tell me if you think it is a rural, urban, or suburban community. Let's start with this one. What kind of community is this a picture of? That's right. This is an urban community. This is an urban community or a city. Urban and city mean the same thing. What about this picture over here? This is a picture of a subway. Do you think that you would find a subway in an urban, rural, or suburban community? Urban, that's right. Just like our book said, in many urban communities, in many cities, they use subways to get around. We don't have subways in Rochester, but they have subways in places like Toronto, Chicago, New York City, and they're a lot like buses. They just help people get around. What is kind of community is this? That's right. This is a rural community, or kind of the country or like a farm. What about this guy? Look at how much space there is. Do you see how much green space there is? Look, I don't even know if I can see. I see 1, 2, maybe 3 houses in this rural community. In this urban community, there could be 1,000 people living in just this building right here. What about this picture down here? Is this rural, urban, or suburban? This is rural. That is a tractor. We use tractors to work on farms, and you can really only find farms in rural communities. What about right here? What kind of community is this? Do you see a lot of people? No, not very many people. So that tells us that this is rural. What about over here? Rural or urban? Urban. There's a lot of people in those cars. There's a lot of traffic. That means it's a city or a urban community. What about this one? Urban. Good job. Look at all those cars. You are getting good at this. And look, in the background, you can see those tall buildings that are close together. What about right here? Rural. Look, there's just one car. There's a long road. There's lots of trees. Now this one's going to be tough because these pictures and these pictures look very similar. This is an example of how rural and urban communities can look very similar. In this picture right here. Zoom in for you. This is urban. This is an urban community. It's still a school bus, right? We have a school bus in both of these pictures. But this one is rural because there's lots of trees and I don't see any houses, maybe one that looks like there might be a mailbox. But in this urban community, all of these windows are different apartments. That's a lot of people. And a rural community, there is not a lot of people. All right, this one's going to be tricky. These are both parks, but is this park here going to be urban or rural? This is a tricky one. This one is urban. So we do see a lot of green space and trees because a lot of cities or urban communities do have parks. But in the background, you can see those tall buildings that are really close together. That's how I know that's an urban community. And down here, this is suburban because this is a park, right? Both of these parks are very similar. They still have lots of green grass. They have lots of trees. But in the background over here, you see some mountains and maybe a lake, but there are no tall, skinny buildings and there aren't very many. So we know there aren't very many people who live there.
Okay, how did you guys do? Did you have fun sorting the different community pictures? Now, I know we mostly only talked about the urban communities and the rural communities. And that's because suburban communities are a little bit harder to sort because they're kind of a combination. They're kind of somewhere in between rural and urban. Now, let's go back to our question from earlier. You are going to send a video to your teacher of you explaining what makes each type of community special. So what's something special about an urban community? What's something special about a rural community? And what is something special about a suburban community? Have a great day, everybody, and I will see you in the next lesson. Bye.